A 150-pound Cane Corso can crack a bone the size of your wrist without trying. So the first time a 2-year-old toddled across the room, held out a small blue ball, and simply waited, every adult there stopped breathing. And what this enormous dog did in the next 4 seconds is the reason a phone in the corner now has a video with millions of views. But to understand it, you have to go back 387 days to a cold concrete kennel where the world had already decided this dog was too much. His name was Onyx, 150 pounds of dark brindled muscle, a head like a cinder block, and a chest you could feel rumble across a room. He'd been surrendered as a full-grown adult by an owner who wrote 3 words on the form and never came back: "Can't handle him." For 387 days, he lived in Kennel 6 at Foothills Animal Rescue outside Highlands Ranch, Colorado. He stopped barking around month 3. He stopped looking up at visitors around month 5. By the time the leaves changed twice, he mostly just lay with his chin on his paws. And every time a family with children came through, the same thing happened. They slowed at his kennel, read his card, took in his size, glanced at their kids, and kept walking. Too large, too strong, too dangerous for a family with a toddler. Once, a couple nearly adopted him until their 4-year-old darted forward and the mother screamed and yanked the child back. Onyx hadn't moved an inch. He'd only lowered his head and let out one soft breath. The family left anyway. That night, a volunteer named Dana wrote one line in his file: "Gentlest dog in this building. Nobody will ever believe me." Rachel Brennan was not supposed to come home with a dog that day. She was 29, a labor and delivery nurse, married to a man named Tom, and 7 months pregnant. She'd stopped at Foothills only to drop off old blankets, but on her way out, she passed Kennel 6, and a pair of deep amber eyes lifted off the floor and followed her down the aisle. She crouched at the bars. Onyx didn't bark or lunge. He crossed the kennel and pressed the side of his huge head against the metal, slow and gentle. Dana appeared beside her. "That's Onyx, 387 days. Everyone says the same thing: too big for a house with a baby." Rachel looked at her belly, then back at the dog staring at it like it was the most interesting thing in the world. "Funny," she said, "he's the only one in here who hasn't flinched at it." She signed the papers 40 minutes later. Tom found out by text: "We have a dog. He's 150 pounds. His name is Onyx. I'll explain tonight." The first week was chaos in the way only 150 pounds of dog can be. Onyx took out a lamp with his tail in the first 10 minutes. He claimed the couch with the calm confidence of a landlord, but there was something underneath it nobody had warned her about. Onyx watched. Not nervously, but carefully. He mapped the house in 3 days, every door, every window, every corner. And he learned Rachel's belly fastest of all. By the end of the week, he'd left the expensive bed she bought him and started sleeping on the floor on her side, his back to the frame, his face toward the door. Tom joked they'd adopted a bodyguard. He had no idea how literally he meant it. Here's something most people don't know. The name Cane Corso comes from an old Italian phrase that means roughly guardian dog. For centuries, this breed stood between farms and whatever moved in the dark, not because anyone trained them to, but because standing between danger and the people behind them was simply who they were. You don't teach it, you just give them someone to protect. Eli was born on a snowy Tuesday in February, 7 pounds of red-faced fury. The whole drive home, Rachel's heart pounded. For 7 months, she'd heard the same warning from her mother, her sister, a stranger in a grocery line. A dog that size and a newborn? You're being reckless. And now she was carrying her son toward 150 pounds of guard dog who'd never been allowed to keep a child. Onyx was waiting in the entryway. He didn't jump, he didn't bark. He walked over, lowered his cinder block head to the car seat, breathed in the scent of the tiny creature inside, then folded down onto the floor beside it and didn't move for 3 hours. From that moment, the warnings stopped mattering. Onyx had appointed himself, and there's no unappointing a Cane Corso. The blue ball came around Eli's first birthday, a 99-cent thing from a grocery bin that he loved more than every other toy combined. And the first time he carried it across the room and held it out to the giant dark dog, the family learned exactly what kind of animal they'd brought home. Onyx got down, not sat, all the way down, belly to the carpet, until his massive head was level with a wobbling toddler's. He took the ball into a mouth that could have crushed it like an eggshell and held it as gently as glass, then rolled it back with one slow push of his nose, straight into Eli's hands. He never stood, he never ran, he never once made the boy chase him. If you're still here but haven't subscribed yet, that honestly stings a little. Hit subscribe, because what this dog does next is the part you'll remember. He simply turned 150 pounds of war dog into a slow-motion playmate, shrunk down to a 2-year-old's whole world. And there was always more to it than play. Watch long enough and you see the pattern. Onyx kept his body between Eli and the staircase every single time. When the ball rolled toward the kitchen, his shoulder was the wall that stopped it. When Eli wobbled to his feet, 150 pounds shifted, silent and instant, into the gap between the boy and the corner of the coffee table. The ball game was never only a game. It was a patrol with a toy in the middle of it. Rachel filmed it one afternoon almost by accident, the huge dark dog in his studded collar lowering himself to the floor again and again so a giggling toddler could win. She posted it that night. By morning, it had 100,000 views. By the end of the week, several million. People wrote the same thing from a dozen countries. I have never seen something so big be so gentle. Stories like this one are exactly why we keep doing what we do. The ritual settled into the bones of the house. Every afternoon at almost the same time, Eli came padding in with the ball in both fists, and Onyx was usually already sinking to the floor before the boy rounded the corner, as if he could feel it coming. Tom called it ball o'clock and swore the dog kept better time than the kitchen clock. Eli's fourth word after mama, dada, and a firm no was a garbled, joyful Onyx. Onyx came every time, like his name was the best word in the language, which is exactly why, on a gray afternoon in November, Rachel knew something was wrong before she could have told you how. It was past ball o'clock, and the house was too quiet. Then she heard a sound she'd never heard Onyx make in 2 years. Not a bark, not a growl, but a high, frantic whine that rose and broke and rose again. She came around the corner and stopped cold. Onyx stood in the center of the room with the blue ball in his mouth. He'd picked it up himself, something he had never done, not once, and he was staring down the hallway, whining, stepping toward Eli's room and turning back to her, over and over. Onyx, what is it? He led her straight to Eli's door and pushed it open with his head. And there, on the floor beside his bed, Eli lay on his side, his small body rigid, his lips losing color, his skin burning to the touch. A fever had climbed faster and higher than anyone could have caught and tipped him into a seizure. Rachel was a nurse. Her training took over even as her hands shook. She turned him onto his side, cleared the space, and shouted for Tom, already dialing for help. The paramedics were there in minutes. The same dog 17 families had walked past. The same 150 pounds the world had called too dangerous for a child. The same Onyx one tired volunteer had sworn was the gentlest soul in the building. He was the reason someone reached that room in time. At the hospital, they explained it was a febrile seizure, terrifying to watch, but with fast care, something almost every child comes through completely. And Eli did. He was home in 2 days, groggy and small and entirely himself, reaching for his ball before he could stand up straight. One doctor, a pediatrician of 30 years, asked Rachel how they'd reached him so fast. She told him about the dog and the broken ritual. He went quiet, then nodded. "We don't fully understand it," he said, "but there's real evidence dogs can sense changes in the body, a rise in temperature, a shift in scent, before we have any idea. Sounds like yours knew before you did." Some stories don't need explaining. They just need someone in the room paying attention. And if this one is making you feel something right now, you already understand why we make them. Today, Eli is 4. Onyx is 6. The blue ball is somewhere in that house right now, and twice a day, every day, 150 pounds of Cane Corso still folds himself to the carpet and plays in slow motion so a small boy can win. He still slides between Eli and the stairs without being asked. He still sleeps against the bed, face toward the door. Nobody trained him to do any of it. He decided in the first hour who he belonged to and never reconsidered. If a dog ever seems anxious or restless or suddenly refuses to do the thing he always does, pay attention. There's almost always a reason. They notice what we overlook. They feel what we can't. And if you're ever in a shelter looking at a dog the world has already called too big, too strong, or too much, remember the verdict on the kennel card is almost never the whole story. Do your research, prepare your home, and understand what you're taking on, because sometimes the dog everyone else crosses the room to avoid is the one who'll never, not for a second, take his eyes off the person he loves. 17 families looked at Onyx and saw a problem too big to take home. One pregnant woman looked at the same dog and saw a guardian. So tell me, do you think he learned to love Eli slowly over all those quiet afternoons? Or do you think he chose him the moment they met? Tell me in the comments.